Hi, I'm Babs Hogan, and welcome to Cheese Hangouts. Today I have a very special guest, Caroline Hostettler. She is the owner and creator of QualityCheese.net for about 20 years. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the Adopt and Out program. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a program that works with a network of 26 farmers in Switzerland who still do what we call transhumance. So they go up to the mountains for the summer season to higher elevations to take advantage of the rich grass up there. And they make cheese only during those 3 months. These people are farmers, not cheesemakers, but for the customers of Adopt and Out over here, this means they get exposed to cheeses that normally without the program would never make it over here. Most are very small production cheeses, very precious raw milk. As I said, the milk on the Alp is the best milk of the year, clearly the richest, the most healthiest, and those cheeses are just very characterful. So we work with stores, we approach stores, and with adopting their Alp, they basically commit to buying a specific amount of cheese in the fall once the people and animals come down again. And the whole summer, and this is the fun part about the program, throughout the whole summer, the customers and their end consumers can follow their Alp, their family, their cows, through the website and the blog on that website. And this is very impressive because we see pictures that in our everyday life, we usually don't even think about situations that these people and animals do face throughout the summer. And the goal really is to save that tradition, to make people aware how important it is that still some people, even though the numbers are decreasing steadily, slowly, but it's very important that these people keep on doing it and that they see they get support. Those cheeses get bought, they have an audience, and these people have a future.
And you know these 26 farmers, right, personally?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, we have a nice, close relationship. You know, I have to brief the people. They have to be willing to talk with me throughout the summer, to send me videos and photographs. And it's not very easy because they are very busy throughout those roughly 100 days. And so it takes a little cooperation from their side as well. But by now they see, you know, it's a relationship between the customers here. Some send each other emails even. You know, the farmers want to know what happens with the cheese here, how it's displayed, how people like it. So it's really nice. It's a growing, deep relationship.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the what makes Alp cheese so special.
Well, as I said, the one thing is it's only made throughout the hottest time of the year, throughout that time when really on a mountain, everything is blooming. On an Alp, we count up to 150 different grasses, herbs, and flowers, compared to the valley meadows where there's usually fertilizers, all these things, and you count up to maybe 2 hands full of varieties. So that is one big.
So that's the advantage of going up to higher altitudes?
Yes, and the milk is the healthiest you can get, also the tastiest. So Alp cheese is only made seasonally. That is one very important characteristic. Even if you make a cheese on a mountain or in a mountain region, if it's made year-round, it's no Alpage or Alpkäse. And that's why we do not like when people talk about Alpine or Alpine style.
Okay.
Because most of these cheeses are not made seasonally, if they call them Alpine. Alp really is very precious, very unique, and we should leave that term really to the real deal, and not confuse it, because those farmers work under conditions that are very cumbersome for some. You know, you have to be very high up. You work in circumstances that are not comparable to down in the lowland. And so they should be getting a bit more for their cheeses. And if we mix that up, then it's impossible. Then somebody asked me, why should I pay 25 if I can have an Alpine for 15?
Why do the Swiss produce the most tastiest and most healthiest cheeses in the world? Now, we kind of touched on that just a little bit. Is there anything else that you can add to that?
Yes, I would like to add, I think first off that the tastiest and most healthiest cheeses that he is referring to are exactly those Alpkäse.
Okay.
And another reason besides what they eat up there, and without the only fertilizer really that those cows on the meadows find is what they do. That's the only fertilizer, and it's the most healthiest one. It's a very natural cycle. But also, those cheeses up there are raw milk cheeses, which is an immense, immense difference to any thermalized or pasteurized cheeses. So they are alive. They have live bacteria cultures. You can see that. I'm a big promoter of those. Hello, Rolf.
Yes.
And so, you know, they're so natural and they're so characterful. They really speak the language. I think there is a lot of land in those cheeses, literally, because the quality of milk starts in the ground, in the soil. What grows, what the cows eat, what's in that milk, that really gives them the character. And that makes the Swiss raw milk cheeses, especially the Alpage, very special.
Oh, that's a good answer. Another question from Rolf, and I just got this morning on Facebook.
Yes, well, it's basically the same reason. Alps Prince is made in the summer only of that milk that is so incredibly rich and beautiful, and that reflects in the end product, in the cheese. Also, Alps Prince per se is raw milk. It's whole milk. Parmigiano is made of skim milk, and we know how important those fats are. These are the best fats. The Alps Prince is full of omega-B, omega-3 fatty acids in the most perfect ratio, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful cheese that, by the way, already the Romans liked incredibly, and they were the first ones buying those cheeses and becoming the first foreign customers for this beautiful, beautiful cheese.
You mentioned the farmers on the mountains don't really make the cheese, so they milk the cows, and then they have another group of people that make the cheese.
No, they do go up, but they only make cheese up there. So it's them making the cheese.
Oh, okay.
That is the second characteristic of an Alpkäse. A real Alpkäse, I said, is a seasonal product. And the second term is it is made right where the people and the animals live and graze and work. So you're not allowed for an Alpkäse to transport milk. So that milk comes out of the animal and usually is worked still lukewarm into beautiful cheese. And this is another very, very big difference to industrial or commercial cheese. It has never felt an stainless steel tank or anything like that.
Yeah, I noticed they use copper pots.
Yes.
All of them?
Yeah, the big majority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after they
don't look like copper. They are all black from the fires, but
I got you. I got you. Yeah, those those pots are massive. They must hold hundreds of gallons.
Yeah, it depends on, you know, how many cows they have. Most farmers, when they go to the Alps, most in Switzerland have they own between maybe 15 and 25 cows a family, but then they take cows from farmers that do not go themselves anymore up there, but that see the value of that good milk. So they have maybe cows from 4 or 5 families for a total of maybe between 50 and 100 cows. So then they have more milk, and it all depends on the size of the chalet. Some have a dairy besides the house, some work in their own kitchen. So it's all very different.
Do they have cheese caves there?
Yes, they do. Yeah. And some do move their cheeses at the end of the season down with them to where they live in the winter. And then there's others that hike up throughout the winter and go tend to the cheeses regularly. So
during the winter in Switzerland, that must be a long, cold trip.
Big efforts, I tell you. You will see photographs on the website where a farmer drags up a sled and fills it up with wheels of cheeses and then goes down again. Yeah.
You know, I was on your website yesterday and I was looking at all the beautiful pictures, and I was watching all of the beautiful, very well produced videos. There's one that was 25 minutes long and I just loved it. And the music was phenomenal. Did you create that?
No, it's from them. This video has been made by a family friend of this farmer's group. Yeah. And he is a close friend, and that's his hobby. And
What's his hobby? He does it free?
Yes, it's beautiful. But that music is added, but it really belongs to the culture. It's part of that culture while they're up there.
Yeah, I love that. There's a lot of good singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the scenery is, I mean, you know, I live in Texas, and especially in the summer, it can get a little brown because of the heat. You know what I mean? But the scenery there is something that I aspire to see with my own eyes. It's just unbelievably beautiful.
It is. It's very touching when you're up there and you look down, you know, all the depth and all those colors, and just to look into the grass and see all these flowers and herbs, and then, you know, witnessing how much these people know about that whole structure is very, very touching and very impressive. These might be very simple people, but they're very wise in their own way. And, you know, up there, you don't have all the opportunities we have in our daily lives. You have to function within those limits. And this makes you very creative too. And they take advantage of whatever they have. So they literally go out the door and pick some herbs to put in their soup or in their pasta that night. It's quite impressive. Yes,
it is impressive. I was just wondering, do any of the families host guests where the guests live with them and actually do the work or do some work with them?
So this is, some do it, some not. It's very popular to do it. For the farmers, it's a bit two-sided, because if they have somebody who wants to be up on the Alp, people usually have a very positive image of how life up there should be or will be. And it's not just, you know, stress-free and being free and happy. It's a lot of very hard work, and the work has to be done. You cannot wait. And if the sun has been shining 3 days in a row, then you need to cut that grass today in order to get it dry and have the hay for the winter. People, if farmers who accept outsiders, I call them, then they usually want them to stay with them for the entire season. To have a person that only comes for 2 weeks takes very much effort for them to explain them everything and get them familiar, and then they leave again. So what they do often is that some have like extra beds or extra rooms, and they welcome people to stay with them, to eat with them, but throughout the day, they do their own things. The tourists go hiking,
Oh,
riding.
I see. Oh, I understand. Yeah, yeah, I can understand how that it would be so time consuming to explain everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I wanted you to know that I found one of your farmers market sellers on Facebook today. I got a message from her, Barbara Birchtol.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were just chatting on the messenger, and all of a sudden I say, I said, Barbara Swiss treats. Do you know Caroline Hostettler? She goes, oh yeah, I sell her cheese at 2 farmers markets in my area. That's
Yes.
so interesting.
Yes, she is. So she is a Swiss lady who contacted me through Facebook also several years back. And at that time, she did one farmer's market on the east coast of Florida. I'm on the west coast.
Okay, yes.
And she had been baking Swiss goodies for that market. And you can imagine how labor intense that is too, and how little money you make of baked goods that you go sell.
Sure.
And so she had the idea that if she added Swiss cheese, that she probably would do pretty well. And she came over, she watched me, how I did this at the market, how I set up, and she started ordering cheese. And so now she does this, and she does very well, and she deserves it very well.